Dun da 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 dun da 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 da. All right, enough of that bullshit. Let's go into game number 2, Beyond Infinity versus Team Rave. Again, Rave didn't tag up. Admin, slip, slap, jiggly puff, 2x, double slap style. What are you doing, y'all? Come on. We gotta get those tags. Oh, Jiminy Crickets. Game number 2, folks. Rave is leading 1-0 in this elimination best-of-3 series here in the lower bracket finals of Kappa Season 2. I'm Zayori from moonducktv. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Saturday morning. 7 a.m. here on the Eastern Coast. We've got our bulletproof coffee. We've got our brains turned on, and we've got a lot of Dota 2 coming your way. If this series is 2-0, I'm going to be doing a live Zayori podcast directly after this, so y'all should stick around and look forward to that. If it's 3 games, probably not going to have time, so just keep that on the back burner. I'm going to go ahead and say Rave won already. My reason for that is Beyond Infinity are falling into one of the worst traps a team can fall into.
5 seconds remaining.
Same thing again. Slardar, Ancient Apparition.
Reserve time.
More of the same. The AA pick didn't work for him last game. Is it going to work for him this game? I think the mindset is that it's a counter pick to the Timber Saw. It is maybe a little better this game. It's good against the Timber Saw. It's good against the Healing Ward, the Healing Voodoo bullshit, Voodoo Restoration. It just didn't feel like the Ancient Apparition offered enough in that last game. It wasn't all the AA's fault. I think Beyond Infinity had bigger problems. They had big problems. I'm not sold on this. They're going to grab a third pick Kunkka. It's still very open-ended if this is a core Kunkka or a support Kunkka. There is a lot of synergy with Kunkka, Ancient Apparition, and Slardar as a trio. X marks the spot, guarantees you a cold feet proc almost every time. Also very easy setup into the Slardar Slitherine Crush. So there's a lot of kill potential across those 3 heroes. Kunkka, very good against Timbersaw. Anybody who can bring the Timbersaw back, your Disruptors, X marks the spot, stuff like that. Very good against the mobile Timbersaw. Actually quite good against Darkseer as well. But those are kind of niche scenarios where the Kunkka has to go in and get the setup, Blink Dagger, that kind of stuff to find the X. Definitely possible. I think Kunkka is underrated in general right now, but ease of execution, so far the advantage, I would say, has to go to Rave. It's like if Beyond Infinity are able to get their trio to work perfectly, it's devastating, but actually pulling it off and coordinating all of it is really tricky, especially when you've got someone like Witch Doctor who has a cask that's going to be bouncing around, really good for those kind of wombo combo type setups because you could still catch the Witch Doctor, hit him with a stun, and have the cask bouncing around to interrupt your fights, right? The healing from Witch Doctor is still going to be pretty effective this game. I still think Rave should buy a mech. I absolutely detest this mindset that, it's Ancient Apparition in the game, we can't buy mech. He completely counters it. Yes, of course Ice Blast is good against mech. That's not the argument whatsoever. But the counter argument is that you're never going to hit 5 hero Ice Blasts reliably. And Aghanim Scepter is not going to come out in a timely manner 9 out of 10 games, right? There's this huge window where you can still 5-man around, mech around the Ice Blast. It can often save heroes. Like, the first 20, 30 minutes of the game, shatters are not really that common. It takes Ancient Apparition a little while to hit level 6, then once he does, there's still a song and dance that has to go about before Ice Blast is really devastating. Even level 1 Ice Blast is pretty underwhelming, and there are so many opportunities to use the mech, use the healing from Witch Doctor, that I think it can still be a worthy item pickup if that's the kind of strat your team is going for. If you're still committing to a lot of 5-man, you're still committing to knocking down a lot of towers, absolutely buy the mechanism on the Darkseer. It will still provide you a lot of value. Beyond Infinity, thinking hard about what they want to do with this 4th pick. And this will be pretty telling. Right now, we're not sure how they want to set up these lanes. Is it a safe lane Slardar with an aggro tri? Kunkka, Ancient Apparition actually could be an aggro tri-lane support duo because of all that kill potential. We talked about the setup with the Cold Feet X and...
Dire team ban.
Wind Ranger. Really? I really don't like this Beyond Infinity draft, and I don't know why. I feel like I'm just being a biased caster right now because I want to do a podcast. Like, I don't understand this 4th pick Wind Ranger, though. She has really fallen out of the meta. You see it get, like, 5th ban against DC because it's such a signature hero for Weehaw. There's a couple of specific, very good Wind Ranger players that still like to utilize her, but I think she has a similar problem to the Morphling. She needs a fuckload of items to really come online. This is assuming that she's going to be in the solo mid role. Always a hero that is high risk, high reward. If you can connect on 2 hero shackle shots reliably, the hero's fucking broken. I mean, she still is an incredible disabler that can take over a game if you can find the shackles. But easier said than done, and it's sort of reliant on your opposition to make missteps and you know, provide you those opportunities to get those big shackles, right? I think Wind Ranger is susceptible to just being run down, especially in that early game, like the first 15 minutes or so. I imagine she'll want to go like Maelstrom, Aghanim's crit style of build, you know, maybe a 4th staff in there. Either way, she needs a core item or 2 to really build up. She's notorious for being squishy early on, and I think Witch Doctor, Axe, Timbersaw, these kind of heroes are really going to be able to pick on her a lot. Now the anti-mage final pick from Rave. This is looking like a pretty greedy lineup. Going to be position 5 Witch Doctor. Axe is their position 4, farming away in the jungle. Timbersaw mid once more. Off lane Darkseer. Now it's going to be anti-mage for their safe lane. This draft, to me, is just very well-rounded. You've got great initiation with Axe and Darkseer. You've got counter initiation with those 2 as well. Huge AoE teamfight damage with the Timbersaw, the Witch Doctor, ult, Vac Wall, all the pure damage that Axe does, and even just Battle Fury cleaves from the Anti-Mage. They can also scale pretty well into the late game. They've got a disable that goes through BKB, a good mix of magical damage and physical damage. Hell, even a good mix of pure damage with Timbersaw here, as well as Axe, of course. Now Counter Helix is all pure, so stuff to cut through those BKBs. Good. You look at this Beyond Infinity draft over here, and you've got the clunky Kunkka. He is going to be on the support role. We'll see how this works out. Maybe him and Frosty can really take over. And then you've got these 3 clunksters, Wind Ranger, PA. I mean, talk about 2 heroes that are completely outside of the meta right now. Both these pretty ladies. TI6, I honestly want to look at the stats for the TI6 hub because I don't think they were played much at all, especially the PA. This hero, I think, has a lot of problems right now. She can ball out of control. She's still that snowball presence. If she gets a couple kills in lane, if she, you know, just completely dominates, she can take over the mid game and look unkillable. But that's a fairly rare situation. She's very punishable. Once that Phantom Strike is on cooldown, you can just kind of run at her. There's not so much you can do beyond Infinity with the smoke, though. You're going to go around the back line. Derp, he gets off a decent cast to break things up. He'll get X'd back, and it looks like they will just get a kill on the Witch Doctor. Could have been a lot worse for Rave right there. All things considered, they should be pretty happy just conceding away as support. Very smart play from Beyond Infinity, though. 5 hero smoke rotation, wrapping around this way. You don't really expect it. That's a pretty cheeky play right there. They also get some wards down on their way. This Observer down outside of the medium camp, and this guy right here to give some intel into this entryway. It looks to me like they do actually want to set up an aggro tri-lane, not saving a ward for mid, so pretty confident the Wind Ranger can hold her own. They're going to put some of their presence down bottom, and we'll see if my prediction holds true here as they start to rotate about. What are the odds on this game, by the way? Dota 2 Lounge. What are we at? 40-60. 60% for Rave, 40% for Beyond Infinity. I think 40-60 is about accurate. Beyond Infinity, the surprise team that's made it this far into the tournament. I don't think anybody really predicted that. Their stock's pretty high. Rave, been a little hit or miss, but still favorites. I think Rave obviously just have more late. Like, that last game was pretty even. To me, that last game shows that Beyond Infinity have some pretty high-skill players. They've got the mechanics to kind of tango with some of these top C teams, but their late-game decision-making still leaves a little bit to be desired. The way that that game ended so quickly sort of shows that their late-game decision power is just not quite up to snuff. So Axe will be in the jungle. He gets his Iron Talon. Ryo kind of taking a page out of the puppy book here. We'll be able to farm pretty effectively. Good lane rotation from Rave. Rappy going to be the solo Darkseer in the safe lane. And with this aggro try, they were 100% trying to dodge this matchup here of PA versus the Darkseer. It's a really irritating matchup. You pick a Darkseer generally because you want to put pressure on a lane. Generally, it's the enemy's safe lane, but more simplistically, you want to put that pressure on the enemy position 1. And there are some carries that are pretty good at dealing with the Ion Shell, Juggernaut, Life Stealer, Bloodseeker. You know, these kind of heroes that have some way to sustain through all that constant magic damage in the early laning phase. PA, not quite on that same level. She's handling it all right for now, but you can see the pressure that she's on. Only 6-3 compared to this 7-0 anti-mage. The mid laners both kind of pulling ahead a little bit in terms of raw CS. It's not the dream. They went with this aggro tri-lane, and Rave just effectively read it. They get the anti-mage the hell out of dodge. Jo now able to farm pretty well in their off lane against this solo Slardar, also putting a lot of pressure on the Slardar. So now you have this disparity where Darkseer is going to be able to farm better than Slardar, just naturally. He can always retreat into the jungle. Ion Shell is a very powerful farming tool in these early levels. Anti-Mage should be able to start to farm a little bit better than the PA. And more importantly, Rave have a straight-up jungler. So they only have 4 heroes showing in lanes. It is just straight-up more efficient. You've got this guy level 4 just ricing away. He got a double damage at the 2-minute mark, so letting him farm even faster than usual. More experience, more gold for Rave as they find that efficiency. And on top of that, for Beyond Infinity, aggro tri-lanes are designed for killing people. You never go in aggro tri-lane with the idea, don't worry, PA, we're going to sit in lane and you're going to get all the last hits. It's going to be awesome. No, you pick these heroes because you want to shut somebody down, because you want that Darkseer to show his little blue face so you can X him, you can snowball him, and get a guaranteed Cold Feet proc. Look at this Ancient Apparition build. 2 points in Cold Feet at level 3. Far from the standard, but when you have a setup like this, there actually is potential to get a kill. If you can actually find that stun on the Darkseer, it should yield a kill. But look at this brilliant positioning. Rappy knows exactly what's going on, knows that the Darkseer is susceptible in these kind of scenarios, and he's just going to play it defensively. He'll keep spamming Ion Shells into the wave. He's almost got his Soul Ring up, and he's just going to farm the jungle, work this easy camp. This is brutal for Beyond Infinity. I think there should be a pretty big disparity, and yeah, there sure is already. Oh, wait, no. Huh. They've actually got the superior farm right now. I'm surprised. I'm actually shocked. Thought with Axe in the jungle, they'd definitely be pulling ahead. All right, perhaps I spoke too soon. Which one of these lanes is going disastrous? Mid is pretty even. Wind Ranger 22-4 compared to the 16-5 Timbersaw. He's not winning, but it's even enough, at least for now. Much better start for the Timbersaw than what we saw last game. Let's put it that way. Both safe laners farming very evenly. Off laners fairly even as well. Oh, this could be a first blood, though. Zetus Bug. He's going to take the curse. One more auto attack, and he should be going down here. It's the Witch Doctor that gets it. We already saw the first blood. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's a nice, easy kill for Derp. Anti-Mage helps get another one up on the scoreboard. And they'll just pick on the Ancient Apparition. And now this tri-lane's broken. Rappy says, hey, AA's up top. All right, well, I'm ready to put some pressure on this lane. The kill power is definitely in the duo. Kunkka by himself, not so scary. X into level 1 Torrent at these levels, Rappy's going to be able to just surge away, and the little blue dude should be able to survive, no problem. I really think this laning phase is going to end up being way in favor of Rave. The graphs will start to reflect it. The experience edge is pretty obvious at this stage. Remember that Rave is also basically playing 5v4 right now. Axe hasn't poked his head out of the jungle yet, but he is already level 6. So it could be time to start thinking about some of these rotations. Torrent down bottom, off the mark, no chance. Will not connect with that one. At least PA is finding decent farm. PA and Wind Ranger both doing pretty well in their lane. So there is still a sign of life for Beyond Infinity. I'm a little more worried about the Wind Ranger in that 10 to 20 minute window. She's got some okay creep clear with the power shot. Yeah, it's sort of annoying, but I don't think this is the stage of the game where the Wind Ranger pick is going to look really weak. She can hold her own in the lane against just a solo Timbersaw. Rave have been putting their supports elsewhere to make sure the other cores are getting some farm other than the Timbersaw. Oh, Badazai. Oh, do they go for this? Derp just hits him with an auto attack. I thought Timbersaw may go for it, but he's just going to grab that regen rune, head back to the lane. 6 minutes in, still pretty quiet. Everybody happy to farm, 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 farm. Slow and steady. Wind Ranger is #1 on net worth. I want to believe that Beyond Infinity can do it. If they can hit all their skill shots and utilize this Kunkka, honestly, I think their draft is pretty good. The reason I'm favoring Rave so much is I think the ease of execution advantage is way in their favor. Uh-oh, Timbersaw. Timbersaw, that's going to be a kill. Sorry, I missed that rotation. That's my bad, folks. There's that setup, though, that we were talking about. I stopped to look at Twitch chat for 10 seconds, and that's what happens. But we can understand the power. Level 2X, 600 range, can catch the Timbersaw from pretty far away. And once you mitigate that Timber Chain, he's actually really easy to kill. They need more of that. We're 7 minutes in. They've only had one really good Kunkka Ancient Apparition setup. You also have to be wary about the levels. Both AA and Kunkka very eager to hit level 6. Two supports that kind of change entirely once that comes out. The Ghost Ship with the Rum helps the team fight a lot more. And if you can get that big setup stun, it's pretty devastating in these early levels. And, of course, Ice Blast, an ability that really needs no introduction, but helps bring the Ancient Apparition online. Lane Ward down comes from the Dire, probably a sign that Beyond Infinity will want to put some pressure on this Tier 1, one of the more inconsequential towers on the map. Radiant might not be too likely to mount a serious defense, so it could be something they want to think about. Jo now rotating into the safe lane. He's picked up his Ring of Health. Okay farm on him, 2.8k net worth. Not great, not bad, just kind of keeping tempo right now, especially with the PA. Blizzard is going to rotate up top, and this aggro try from Team Buy will most definitely start to crumble now. Timbersaw with the infused raindrop. Ooh, down bottom. We're going to see a little fight onto the Slardar. He's lost all of his mana. Cass could be bouncing back and forth. Oh, just barely outranges the neutral. I don't know if they would have had enough damage for a kill. Mana Void on the Slardar really doesn't do too much damage. He's only got 300 mana at this point. Would have been a close call. He was pretty tanky. He also has the 4-man shield, but could have maybe harassed him out of lane. He doesn't have any regen, so they could have at least forced him back if that cask caught a bounce on the creep. Close call. Close call. But before that, I wanted to say I really like the addition of Raindrop. This is a really cool item. I was talking to Merlee. Oh, down bottom. They catch the Slardar this time. Son of a bitch. Axe rotates in. And that time without mana, no way he's going to be able to slither away. I was talking to Merlini about this item, and there are some heroes that the Raindrop is just incredible on. And I think Timbersaw in a game like this actually is one. You know, one of the best scenarios to grab a Raindrop is when there is some sort of a roaming support duo that does big magic damage. I think Mirana is one of the most obvious ones. You get hit by an arrow, you take some damage. Often the Raindrop is enough to give you that little bit of survivability so that you can survive through the arrow stun and make it out alive. Those kind of rotations, Timbersaw, I think, wise to pick it up. And he's a hero that really benefits from that early mana regen. He does have slot issues, but getting an extra 0.85, it makes a really big difference. When you're talking about a bottle of Magic Wand, he can spam out these spells pretty aggressively and not have to worry about mana sustainability like he normally would. It's a pretty small thing, but there's just a lot of synergy with that item on a mid-Timbersaw. And I'm glad to see him pick it up here. 2-2 after that kill down bottom. Rave really pulling ahead. And this is kind of that laning phase aspect I was talking about. Axe with a good rotation, getting all that space in the jungle. It's a 2,500 net worth lead, a 4K experience lead, and the hero kills are all tied up. You look at the top farmers, yeah, the leading cores, positions 1 and 2 are pretty even, but the big disparity is down bottom. AA, less than 1,000 net worth here. Lowest for the Radiant is the Witch Doctor at 1,200. Then after that, it's the position 3, the position 4 that are really farming well. Up top here, Blizzard initiated on. Can they turn onto Rappy? No! The slam dunk from Ryo brings down the PA. That'll make it 3-2 as another kill comes out for this Radiant squad. They will get a kill onto the Darkseer. It looks like as we were watching that, probably caught a shackle on old Ishkafel, so they will trade 1 for 1, all things considered. We're looking at an awkward game so far. It's just been these little pickoffs here and there. Rave hasn't even really started fighting yet. They've been choosing the tempo of this game with the Axe. He had a really early Blink Dagger, 2 kills. This Axe is going to be hard to control. Uh-oh, speak of the devil. Slithering Crush off the mark. Bot side not quite going to find it. All right, I got to up this camera work here. I got to start catching these kills. Need more coffee. Coffee with toffees. Kunkka almost level 6. Big time for him. I'm really curious how this Kunkka Ancient Apparition duo is going to work as we get into the mid-game. Both of them lacking their ultimates right now, and all the heroes level 6 for Rave. So feeling that experience disparity for sure. Wind Ranger, casual point booster. Still open-ended, whether that's just a casual booster or if she's going to go Aghanim's first item. I think the Ag's first is still a pretty core build-up. Does give you some much-needed stats and opens up your ability to kind of split push, use that ult in a very liberal fashion. J.O. He's found some pretty decent recovery farm, though. Courier going to be bringing out his Vanguard. All right, Vanguard AM, not the Battle Fury Rush. I feel like we've been seeing more and more anti-mages go for this build. Now that Vanguard was buffed up, builds into the Abyssal, it has much less of a sunk cost. Kunkka going to try to set it up here. X into Torrent. That was cute. Meanwhile, over here, Swifty set up on by the Axe Witch Doctor. Death Ward, not going to be enough damage. Now an X the other way, but he's got support inbound. Ryo comes in, caught by the Torrent. Now the boat comes flying through. Kunkka catches a stun on two, but is the follow-up damage there? Timbersaw chops down the Wind Ranger. Slardar gets decapitated upon, and Chance will take a Mana Void, and all this follow-up damage. Chakram just barely clips him. They'll find the kill. 3-0 the other way. A disastrous setup for Beyond Infinity. It happened pretty quick, so we are going to catch that replay here in just a moment. It's about a 2K net worth swing, and Rave taking a commanding lead in this game. Another disastrous setup for the buys. All right, looks like they're going to siege this tower. We're going to follow the Timbersaw. Let's go into our Moonduck instant replay here at moonducktv on Twitter. Starts off as an okay initiation onto Derp. Ryo goes in to try and counter-initiate it. Looks like a good setup from the Kunkka. He catches the boat on two. Derp even gets hit by it, but it's the Timbersaw that really seals the deal. This is part of the problem with this Beyond Infinity draft. We talked about it as they were drafting these heroes. What's the synergy? You look at the obvious team fight for Rave, and they have a lot of things going for him. You've got Vac Wall, you've got Witch Doctor, Cask. He's gone for this offensive Curse build with the Death Ward. Like, AoE damage from the Timbersaw, AoE damage from the Axe, Anti-Mage, who's got the Mana Void. They have so much AoE damage in these team fights in terms of abilities to disable, abilities to follow up and do big damage. For Beyond Infinity, they have to hit the perfect sequence of spells to have a comparable amount of AoE damage. Like, okay, Slardar comes in, catches a Crush on 3, Kunkka follows up with a Torrent on 3, Boat on 3, Ancient Apparition with an Ice Blast on 3. Okay, then maybe you start cleaning some stuff up. But it's just not happening. They can't find these initiations. While they're grouped up in the bottom smoke, the PA gets caught in the top lane. Easy slam dunk for Rave. Ice Blast does connect on 2. Chance comes in with a Boat Torrent. They might be able to get a kill on the Axe, but it's Derp on the other side of the tree line. This Death Ward doing huge damage. They kill the Slardar. Axe survives through the Shatter. Swifty misses the power shot, and Ryo just walks away. Oh my good gracious, that Axe should not have survived. Derp actually gets caught by a Cask, but pardon me, gets caught by a Shackle, but the Cask doing big work here. X-Torrent going to bring him down low, but it's Rappy on his way in. They see it. Of course, he is amped up. Wind Ranger going to be forced back. PA looking for a recovery kill. Dagger onto Derp. He's got a little bit of vision. Surge, run Derp. Run, you bastard. And he'll make it out. Another disastrous fight. I mean, really, the exact same thing that I was saying. Oh my god, the Ice Blast falls short too. Doesn't even hit Derp. I don't think it would have been enough for a Shatter. But now Rave, they just smoke up. This is unexpected. 2 low health heroes. PA with this false sense of security. Even just backs up, realizes there's a lot of heroes missing, gets the deny on the tower. They're going to go balls to the wall straight in. Ryo catches the Berserker's Call. PA, say goodnight, sweet lady. Why did they pick Phantom Assassin? What was she supposed to do this game? 0-3-2. It's half of a 3-2-2. I mean, PA actually cannot do anything this game. And we talked about, well, okay, yeah, she's a hero that can get her snowball rolling, but when that snowball melts, what do? She's going for, like, this is such a risky build. Oh, my God. You can't go Phase Boots Perseverance, or this is exactly what happens. Like, Beyond Infinity, I love you guys. If you come back and watch this VOD, I'm looking forward to you in the Moonduck C tournament that's right around the corner. You guys are badass. I love that you made it out of the qualifier, an unknown team, making it top 3 in C Kappa Season 2. But what the fuck is this? PA with Phase Boots Perseverance. Like, it... Especially against a lineup like this. Like, how is she ever going to live? Ancient Apparition is going to die mid. No one really cares about this. Jo gets a solo kill. I mean, there's nothing Frosty can do. But seriously, you get caught by one Berserker's Call, you're dead every single time. Perseverance is one of the worst value items to have just casually. Of course, you need the build-up for Battle Fury, but you got to get something before then. That's why you see so many heroes buy Armlet first. Here we go. Batazai, he's just going to get brought down bottom. Now Rave are just running over him. It's 11-3. The gold graph is out of control. 12K net worth and experience. This game is Rave's for sure. But like you just can't do a build like this in a game like this. If you want to do the defensive PA, Russia Battle Fury, and farm the safe lane, first of all, you should probably pick a different hero to do that. Anti-Mage is way better at that. Second of all, you need a 4+1 lineup to do that. You need heroes that are autonomous, can stand in their lanes, group up as 4, and put pressure on. Knock down towers, force the focus of Rave away from the PA. With this kind of a lineup, you can't do that. They tried to aggro try with the Slardar. That backfired. They rotated the lanes a little bit too late. And PA just completely fell behind because of it. And now she's stuck with this item build where she can't even fight. She literally gets hit by one stun and just falls over. She's made out of tissue paper. Meanwhile, Rave just knocking down towers in the bottom lane. This is going to be a tier 2 uncontested Beyond Infinity. Don't glyph it. Don't glyph it. Please don't glyph it. All right, they don't glyph it. That's good. I think if they glyph it there, Rave just keep pushing and say, hey guys, let's try it high ground. We might be able to get a free tier 3 tower. Axe now has the blade mail. He's super tanky. Oh boy. All right, so let's get positive here. What can Beyond Infinity do to turn this game around? Wind Ranger does now have an Aghanim Scepter, so that's great news. She's got her first core item. Still will need another one before she starts doing a lot of damage, but at least this opens up for Swifty to maybe split push, utilize that focus fire. It's something. PA, one of the biggest issues is even if she gets this Battle Fury, they still have so many issues. We're 18 minutes into this game. 1,400 gold, needs the broadsword, so we're looking at like a 20-minute Battle Fury, assuming she doesn't die as she goes into lane now. Battle Fury is not the item that lets you fight with PA. Battle Fury is the item that lets you farm a BKB that then lets you fight. So she's already so far behind that, yeah, maybe the Battle Fury is the item to help recover, but God, I think she's just going to get run down in these fights. Like, that's not an end-all, be-all item. Wait, I said positivity. Okay, let's check in on Slardar. 1,200 gold. He's almost got a Blink Dagger. That'll help. Ancient Apparition, he's going to go Midas. But for now, he's just got Gloves of Haste. So at least he's level 7. He's got Ice Blast. I mean, I think for Beyond Infinity, their only hope is to get that perfect dream combo that we've talked about. You got to get that boat into Ice Blast, into 2-hero Shackle, follow-up Crush on 3. Like, if this Slardar starts throwing out Ravages, maybe they can win this game. Kraken from the deep, you start getting those 3-4 hero crushes, and that is some game-changing shit. Like, they have the skill shots to actually turn this game around. That's the ridiculous part. A couple double hero shackles, a couple Ravages, a couple of big boats, and, you know, they can start to regain some of this momentum. High ground defense is probably one of the easier parts for this Beyond Infinity lineup, but Rave are getting a lot of... I mean, Anti-Mage is going to beat the PA to a Battle Fury at this rate. And he went for a Vanguard first. She's 200 gold away. Anti-Mage is like 500 gold away. I think that about summarizes this game. I think that about summarizes it better than I could. Also, the Blink Mech up on the Darkseer. We talked about it in the draft, but I like this from Rappy. I really like that he still went for the mech, even though the AA is in the game. Rave have been turning up the tempo a little bit in this match. And it just increases your sustainability a lot, especially like if you get off a pick, get a pick off on the Ancient Apparition. Speak of the devil, Ryo almost catches him there in the jungle. I think Rave looking to get a little more aggressive here. Now a Vanguard up on the Axe, so he is super tanky. Battle Fury up on the PA. It's time to farm, baby. Yeah. And a Blink Dagger on the Slardar. All right. So after that last failed fight, a lot of things have happened. Both teams with a lot of core items. Now even the Bloodstone comes up on the Timber Saw, and the Battle Fury is up on the Anti-Mage. So progression for both sides. And when both sides are kind of farming and getting core items, that absolutely benefits the team that's at a deficit. And boy, are they. 15k net worth. This next fight, honestly, is going to be game-changing. If Rave wins a 5 for 0 type engagement, they're just going to take objectives and go straight for the high ground. It's going to be very difficult for Beyond Infinity to hold. But if they can get a good fight here, this could stall out the game. This could open up for Roshan. Beyond Infinity have the Slardar. They are Dire's side, and Aegis of the Immortal could be their golden ticket to try to get back into this match. So they're going to put some pressure on this Tier 1 tower down bottom lane. They will trade their Tier 2 up top. Tier 1 for Tier 2. Well, never the ideal situation, but when you're this far behind, I think you'll take anything you can get. Will they actually be able to get it? Radiance have already glyphed it. Here we go. The fight breaks out. TP's home from Rave. Beautiful vac wall on 3. The AA ult not going to connect on anything. Shackle does slow down the Timber Saw, but it's Beyond Infinity on the defensive. Now Jo, gets a crit, blink into Boat Torrent. Jo actually going to blink into his death, and this could be the fight Beyond Infinity have been waiting for. Timber Saw can still play cleanup, but Derp getting slowed down by the Witch Doctor. It's a twofer. They will finally lose their Phantom Assassin, but he got 2 kills before going down. Now the Slardar falls, and BI going to start to get cleaned up here. A lot of low HP heroes, nowhere for no chance to go, and Swifty locked in the tree line, destroyed by the tree cutter himself, the one Timber Saw with 16 Bloodstone charges. It's a 2 for 4, a 400 net worth swing. Not too bad. 2 for 4, Beyond Infinity. I don't think they could have hoped for much more than that. They didn't get destroyed right away in the fight. Even with that brilliant initiation from the Darkseer, they were still able to disengage, reset, and kind of make something happen here. We are going to relive the madness. Don't worry. We caught it on the instant replay. Hashtag moonducktv. Here we go. So it starts as a pretty good setup. Jo makes a big mistake. He blinks back into the Torrent boat. That was just a misplay on his part. BI will take it. Commitment onto Derp. Blizzard has to pay with his life. He goes in deep, but I think worth it just to put some pressure on and assert some dominance. Unfortunately, they don't really have any exit strategy. It would have been nice if No Chance could have played sort of Sacrificial Lamb. Maybe Swifty could have TP'd out. They did both have TP scrolls. The Ancient Apparition is the only one that's able to scoot out through the jungle. I mean, you saw in that fight how the Ice Blast is not a sure thing. I don't think it hit on anybody, actually. Maybe clipped one hero, but really didn't do much that fight. See the Yule Scepter now come out on the Timber Saw with his Bloodstone charges. For the cores for Rave on the top of the net worth chart here, and that's always scary. This position 4 Axe has just been an absolute monster. I think that's where the biggest disparity is coming in. You know, these the PA, the TA, or Jesus, the PA, the Wind Ranger, farming decently well. It's when once you get to this position 4, it's like you compare who is the position 4? Is it the Kunkka or is it the Ancient Apparition? They're both farming so poorly, but you compare either of them to the Axe, and it's like, wow, that's a 7k net worth difference. Okay, now I understand how Rave has such a grappling lead on this game at this point. A lot of Blink Daggers coming out. Wind Ranger now gets her blink. She gets a nice mobility tool. One outer tower remains for Beyond Infinity. And it may not be remaining too much longer. Dire going to scan it up. Looks like they want to pressure this Tier 1. They may trade Tier 1 for Tier 2 yet again, but no chance. Caught out perhaps. Vac wall. Nope, just a vac. Kunkka evaporates right outside of his base. Creates a little bit of space for his team to get a Tier 1 tower. Again, at this point, you're so far behind, you'll take kind of anything you can get. The Bye Boys hanging in there as long as they can. They're going to continue pushing. They'll siege the Tier 2 in the top lane now. Of course, there's a glyph for Rave, who are eerily close to the enemy base. There is a glyph for Beyond Infinity, but their Tier 3 tower now under heavy siege. They need to make a defense here. Kunkka dead. He also doesn't have a boat. It's just now coming up. There's that first 2-hero Shackle, but the Crimson Guard mitigates a lot of the damage. Ice Blast flying through, connects on one only, just the Darkseer. Rave hanging on for now. Slithering Crush off the mark from Badazai. Now X combo will bring down the Witch Doctor, but back wall on 2. Rappy sticking around for now. Pops the mech, has the Arcane Boots still. Kunkka X's himself back into the Chakra. I'm not sure if that was the play. He's going to get caught now, but another 2-hero Shackle. This Wind Ranger coming into her own. Look how defensive the PA has to be. She's just watching her Kunkka die. Now the Wind Ranger getting low also. She picks up a Dragon Lance. Still not much that she can do in this fight. The Wind Ranger gets dove on, completely destroyed. Ryor on a godlike streak. taking over this game, 9-0-4. A buyback now used by the Kunkka. Ryo will get caught by the X-Torrent. Ice Blast flies through, does connect. Cold Feet proc, he's in trouble. That'll be the end of the Axe. Godlike streak goes the way of the PA. Blizzard now trying to man up onto Rappy. A crit will do him well, but back. He's not going to be able to commit for it. Slardar blinks out of the base, catches a stun on the Timbersaw. It was up on the high ground. Now Timbersaw coming back in to reinitiate. Rave still have some resources here. With the buyback on the Kunkka, it's a very minor net worth gain for the Dire. PA, of course, the big breadwinner with about 1K gained right there. If only this PA had a BKB. Hood of Defiance. Why did I say Hood of Defiance? That's a Helm of the Dominator, for fuck's sake. And a Dragon Lance. Interesting. Great stats for the PA. I'm not sure how I really feel about the Dragon Lance, though, on this hero. Like Terrorblade, it makes a lot more sense. Dragon Knight, it makes a lot more sense. They're melee heroes that have an option to go range, so you still benefit. Of course, you buy this item for the stats. It's value stats with an easy build-up. I understand what the PA is going for here. This is kind of the new drum on a hero like this. Similar cost and gives you slightly more value stats relevant to your hero if you don't really need the movement speed from the drum, that kind of stuff. I mean, honestly, after that fight, PA has recovered a striking amount. Getting that kill on the Axe and having PA get credit for it was actually pretty huge. An overcommitment from Rave. I mean, there's still 15K net worth and experience up. They can afford to make some missteps. That part, absolutely. But now they move into the Roche Pit. Beyond Infinity, we'll take a look at their vision. They see nothing. They are totally dark around the map right now, and this will end up being an uncontested Roche, it looks like. They don't even need minus armor. They'll bring down the big boy, Chakram, just ticking him down. Ice Blast will fly in, going to scout things out, but I'm not sure Beyond Infinity can even move there to make a play. They're grouped up on the opposite side of the map. Wind Ranger moving into a Maelstrom, it looks like, wants to put some pressure on that tier 3 tower. This is a really slow Roche. Well, that's it. Going to go down.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And quick DC here for Beyond Infinity. All right. Classic lag. Well, guys, like I said, if this is a 2-0 in favor of Rave, we're going to have a Zyori podcast coming up directly after this, so you'll want to stick around after the games are completed. Also, a new What the Duck is up on the Moonduck, channel. For all you What the Duck fans, episode 16. It's cataloged, moonducktv/podcast. Shout out to our sponsors. 188bet. Check them out. If you have extra income, gamble responsibly. They would appreciate your patronage. They made this tournament possible. Good. Uh-oh. Wind Ranger. She's going to try to TP out. Nice shackle. Buys her some time. Rappy gets there just a little too late. And the Wind Ranger will survive. That was a pretty close call. I thought she was going down there for sure. They're looking for more. Kunkka, he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He's going to try to TP home. Do they have a vacuum? No. He used it to try to stop the other TP. Kunkka going to be able to make it out. The Admiral. You know, I see somebody in chat. Why not just buy a fucking Echo Saber? That is a great question, sir. A question to which I don't have an answer for. You're right. You know, I think one of the things with Dragon Lance is the timing. Like, if you rush the Dragon Lance, that would have allowed this PA to be a little more combative, and then you move into the Battle Fury, you know, again, in lieu of the drums. With this timing, yeah, Echo Saber would have been pretty good. Gives you a similar amount of survivability, a little extra mana regen. And when you do man up on heroes, yeah, you get that chance for the crit. Anybody with a passive crit, a passive bash, Echo Saber is naturally just a little bit better on. I agree. Would have been a great item for PA this game. Not sure why she didn't buy it. Looks like she's going to move into the BKB. That's a pretty important item there. Ancient Apparition actually making some progress towards his Aghanims. Now has the point booster up. But this tier 3 tower under siege. There is a glyph for the Dire. Remember, Jo has the Aegis of the Immortal, and he's now got the Manta Style. He's going to go in onto Swifty. Wind Ranger gets caught here. A lot of damage, and they bring her down. She's got a buyback, uses it straight away. Crush on 2 from Botazai, but is the follow-up there? We need a big shackle, and it's not going to latch. Oh, no. Slardar falls. He has a buyback. We're going to hold it for now. PA still split pushing in the bottom. It's a 4v5. Slardar will now buy back. TA, PA, the Phantom Assassin, she gets the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, now comes back to join the party, jumps in onto Derp, doing a lot of damage, but now taking a lot of damage. It's a long back right into the wall. That'll be the end of the Aegis of the Immortal. Ancient Apparition buys back as well. Rave may just cut their losses. They get the tier 3 tower. It is a hold for Beyond Infinity, but it costs them 3 buybacks to do so. Windranger, Slardar, and Ancient Apparition all forced to burn their hard-earned money, and look at that net worth swing. Can you even call it a hold at this point? Yes, their barracks are standing, but it is so goddamn costly. PA, with all that split pushing in the side lane, does manage to pick up a Black King bar. Huge item pickup, of course, but Aegis for 3 kills and 3 buybacks, plus you get the tier 3 tower. I think Rave will settle for that one for sure. 22 Bloodstone charges up on the Timbersaw. He's probably moving into a Shiva's Guard, has himself the Plate Mail. He is looking pretty damn farmed. Any other item progression on the side of Rave? Witch Doctor, he's got himself the Glimmer Cape. Smart item choice there. Gives you some survivability against the PA if she jumps on you. Also like the Yule's Scepter on Timbersaw. It's a pretty classic item on him, rather core, but a great way to counter-initiate. PA goes jumping in. You put her up in the Yule's Scepter. You can also use it on yourself to mitigate some damage. You know, sometimes stop a shatter, that kind of stuff. Axe, he's going to go for a Lotus Orb. Kind of an interesting Lotus Orb game. Guess you can purge off shackles and whatnot. Recast amplify damage, recast shackle. Some interesting stuff that you could potentially recast here. Smoke rotation from Beyond Infinity. They might catch Rave. They're going to walk right into it. Rave have absolutely no idea what's coming. It's Botozai that starts it off. There's the Yule's Scepter. He actually doesn't connect with any stuns. Vacuum from Darkseer. They destroy the Slardar, the Kunkka shortly after. It's a big-time backfire for Team Bai. Ancient Apparition dies as well. It's a 3-for-0 straight away. The rest of the Dire squad get the hell out of Dodge as they try to retreat. TP home from the PA as well as the Windranger. Rave now beeline it towards the enemy base. They know a couple of those heroes have used their buybacks, can't get back into the game, and they will go straight for the objectives in the mid. They've also got creeps nearby. That was brutal. I think basically you can't start a fight like that with your Slardar not catching a stun on anyone. Like, you smoke, you got to get the initiation and connect with a stun. We see the setup onto Swifty. Ryo misses the dunk, but still, Berserker's Call makes it nice and easy, and honestly, we could see a GG at any time. Beyond Infinity, out of options. They're going to lose their mid lane of barracks. They will have 3 heroes coming up in just a couple of seconds, but matter will it? I say not. Methinks this one might be over.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, Botozai goes jumping in straight to his death again. This Slardar pick proving to be pretty underwhelming. Kunkka boat on 2. Ryo getting pretty low. They will get a kill on the Axe. That's a step in the right direction, but it cost them the Ancient Apparition. BK bead PA didn't even get to use it in the last fight. Still that 10-second charge will expire. And now Kunkka, the one that gets left behind, will be killed by the Timbersaw. 1 for 4. Buyback from the Kunkka. BI giving it everything they've got. Now just throwing bodies at the problem. They'll use their final glyph. Tier 3 tower taking heavy damage, but it is a massacre in the enemy base. Kunkka able to get back safely for now, but can they stop this top lane of barracks from being killed? EA bashed. It's not an Abyssal yet, but she just gets destroyed. The Mana Void from Jo brings her down. Now the buyback from PA. Kunkka's already died. Somehow Beyond Infinity have buybacks left. Blizzard can't die here. This would be a dieback for him. Yule's Scepter. Nice setup from Swifty on 2. Blizzard jumps in, gets 1 kill. Can he make it 2? Ice Blast going to be off the mark. Not going to help out there, but Rappy blinks just in the nick of time as the Phantom Strike comes. Oh, man. Fast fingers on that Darkseer. Now Timbersaw trying to make it away, but another Shackle. He's got 20 stacks of reactive. It kind of just tickles right now. Even with the amp damage, he's got so much armor, they can't bring him down. Now Yule's set up on the PA, back the other way. She manages to blink back just in the nick of time, but she's low. Shackle delays the inevitable here, pops the BKB. That's the second charge. Sets up for a kill, turn on to Rappy. Swifty gets the kill, but Ryo decapitates the PA. She won't have a buyback, and the good game is finally called. It's one hell of a sequence to round out the game, but yeah, Rave won.
Radiant.
Woo! Well, Rave got to be feeling good after that series. Pretty convincing win across both games. JO 8-1 and 15. And the Timbers saw 8-1 and 15 also. Two of the cores just completely unchecked. We saw Ryo position 4 in the jungle. Floated to #1 net worth within 10 minutes of the match. Yeah, that's what happens when you let Axe free farm in the jungle. It is ridiculous. Well played by Rave. They're going to be moving on to the grand finals where Orange Tarring are waiting. The upper bracket finals at least before we move into phase 2 of this tournament where Fnatic and MVP Phoenix are sitting. Beyond Infinity, unfortunately, eliminated, but they did have a good run. They came out of one of the regional qualifiers. Didn't expect them to make it this far. And all jokes aside, they have put up some really interesting games. A team that shows a lot of promise. Again, still some decision-making problems, especially towards the late game. I think their drafts are a little ambitious in terms of ease of execution, but it's really cool to see one of these teams that before this tournament we didn't really know much about make a really good run, make it deep into the pockets of Kappa Season 2. And, hey, man, I'm pretty hopeful for what's coming up around the corner. Good stuff. I'm Zayori from moonducktv. Thank you so much for joining us for this coverage. We're done with Kappa for the day. It was just this quick best-of-3 series, but I am going to do a Zayori podcast over on twitch.tv/ZayoriTV. We're going to host it on this stream, so we're going to have some closing music, the closing credits, then stick around because we've got a little more Moonduck content coming your way before Global Grand Masters gets kicked up.